plan procurement management. So in this process, what happens is we generate the plan of how the organizations approach towards the vendors. So this is basically done at the very beginning of the project. So without these procurements, the project cannot move forward very smoothly. So this is done at the very beginning of the project. But as the project moves ahead, there might be some addition of new requirements. Like, for example, the customer has asked suddenly for twice the number of products. So the same single vendor cannot produce so many numbers. So in that case, what we do is we add another vendor to it. Just an example. So in the middle of the project lifecycle, we can also do this procurement management plan, not just limited to the beginning of the project. So let's take a quick look at the outputs that we need to build. Okay, we have 10 outputs that we need to work on. So let's quickly go through each one of them. The procurement management plan gets updated. What happens is this should include all the activities that are needed to be undertaken in the procurement process. So all the competitors who are bidding for the business, or the timetable of the activities, let's say constraints or assumptions, all these things are mentioned in this project management plan. You can also include legal documents, the risks that are involved, the opportunities that we see. Everything can be recorded in this procurement management plan. Next thing is the procurement strategy. What happens here is the main purpose is that we have to determine how we are going to perform the procurement through different phases of the project. Like the delivery methods, the payment contracts, phases within the procurement itself. The procurement itself has again phases similar to the project, right? So first they give only 50 numbers, and then they give 100 numbers, and then they give 200 numbers. So just an example of how these phases work. And then we have bid documents. I think it is self-explanatory. This is nothing but a document which has been proposed as a quotation about the money or the amount the vendors seek to make this product, right? So first there'll be request from the user organization, of course, in the form of RFI or RFQ. It's like request for information or request for quotation. And then finally, the organization which is buying the product will ask for RFP, request for proposal, where the vendors will send that, okay, this is the final proposal, having all the money, the amount that they seek to make this product, right? So next thing is procurement statement of work. This is a document which talks about what technology the seller needs to have. So this basically explains how the product can be made using what technology. Some people might require for a coarse finishing, or some organizations might prefer that I need a fine finishing or a glossy finish to my product. So for this glossy finish to appear on the product, they need a special machinery, special technology is needed. So such statement of work is mentioned in this, after the procurement plan is done. And then a source selection criteria. This is also decided. What happens here is that before the organization moves ahead to even initiate the conversation with the vendors, what they do is they assess whether this vendor actually has a good track with other customers or even within the organization in the previous projects, right? So that is this criteria. Make or buy decisions are just the result of thorough brainstorming after analyzing whether it is profitable to create this part, or is it profitable to just purchase it from the sellers. So it usually happens when there is a technology or expertise that is already available in house. So consider you are making a water bottle. You already have this technology, but you are overloaded with other projects. So in this case, what we do, we just buy it from one of the similar part making vendor, right? So make or buy decisions only happens usually when we have the similar technology, but we still want to purchase it. So the independent cost estimates, what are they? They are sometimes a person from outside the organization also helps us in estimating. We have all learned about the expert judgments in each and every process, right? So such experts are consulted to estimate the cost, just to compare whether our estimation and the third party's estimation are same or not. So we have to also gather information and as an output of this process. All the change requests, anything that has changed due to the procurement process, that has to be recorded, and all the relevant project documents have to be updated. The organization process assets is also being changed here. Why? This is not so common, right? This is being changed because of the long list of documents that we have just learned. The procurement strategy, the statement of work, the bid documents, all these things that we talked about, they affect or they are directly considered as the organizational process assets. So they have to be updated. Okay, let's have a quick look at the inputs. We have 6 inputs. All of them, as you can see, are quite common. However, let's go quickly one by one. The project charter is used and it's quite often referred to. The business documents, like the business case, for example, the benefits management plan, they are all referred as inputs. The project management plan and all possible, all relevant components within the project management plan, they can be referred to. All the relevant project documents are referred. You understand the difference between business document and project documents, right? So this is purely related to the strategy. And here we are talking about the project process. So, and of course, the 2 default processes, the enterprise environmental factors and the organizational process assets, are referred to as inputs. Oops. We have tools and techniques. Here, as usual, the expert are consulted. Someone who is expert in the types of contracts or the local regulations, they are usually consulted here. All possible data gathering tools and data analysis tools that we learned before, they can be used as tools and techniques. Source selection analysis, I think this is something new, a new term here. So what happens here is that when we get quotations from different vendors, right, the purchase team, what they do is they do an analysis of which supplier offers the best solution to our problem, and which supplier is the cheapest bidder. So such kind of analysis is done. They don't just blindly give away business to anybody. Usually for each product, at least 3 vendors are consulted, and out of these 3, one best vendor is selected to give business. So, and also meetings is also a very good tool. Meeting with the vendors, meeting with internal stakeholders also about this procurement process. It's a good tool for the complete process. Okay, moving on to the next process.